So what is it, in your own words, that you want to work on, and what do you want to change?
I think it's around my eating habits.
Okay.
So I've spent my whole adulthood on a diet.
Yeah.
That diet has been an emotional roller coaster, because with diet clubs it's very competitive, so you're either a winner or you're a loser.
Yeah.
There's lots of ups and downs that go with it. My mum was always on a diet, but she fed us very, very well, and food was fairly scarce, so it was a luxury.
Yeah.
And I think and I've seen it with my own children, as soon as they were away from the nest, if you like, all those luxury foods became, oh, I can buy that anytime I like, sort of thing, and eat it. So it's kind of like this, yay, we're free now to do what we want.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I don't, my brain doesn't register when I'm full.
Okay.
So I very rarely get this feeling of being satisfied when I've had a meal.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's not necessarily what I eat. I think it's the quantity, because I will keep eating, and it takes quite a lot of food to give me that sort of feeling full, and you know, that really nice feeling. Yeah. Okay. Not the uncomfortable feeling, but the nice feeling of feeling full. Yeah. But quite often I will go on to feeling uncomfortable. Yeah. Then I feel bad, and then it's a roller coaster.
Yeah. And what do you do to make yourself feel good? You eat something.
Yes. Or just feel mopey about it, and you know, look at me. Anyway, so I've spent my whole adulthood being on a diet. Yeah. We went away travelling for a year. We did huge amounts of walking. You know, it was around between 10 and 14 kilometres a day. So for me, that's a lot. Yeah. But I was eating the same as my 6'2" husband. Yeah. You know, so actually it didn't make any difference.
No, the thing with exercise, and I think they say it's 80% diet and 20% exercise. Nobody loses weight by just exercising, unless you're
got to do something.
Professional athlete.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that there's that. So I think a psychological approach to tuning in to the triggers that should happen between my stomach and my brain, to tell me that I'm full, and I don't need any more, is something that I'm specifically looking for. Okay. I think also the emotional eating. So if I'm stressed, I'm not somebody who'll go for food when I'm stressed. Yeah. I go for food when I'm tired, or when I'm feeling poorly, or if somebody's, I don't know, said something and hurt my feelings. It's, you know, that big warm blanket that you wrap around you. You know, I always go for the food that my mum used to cook. So it would be bread and on hot toast and butter and all those nice sweet things, and to make me feel warm and almost childlike again, because that's what she did when we were poorly, or if we came home from school upset, you know, come on. Yeah. So, and it's the only time, if I'm tired or if emotionally I'm feeling delicate, it's the only time I have white coffee with sugar. Otherwise I drink black tea, black coffee. Okay. But when it comes to feeling tired or feeling sorry for myself, it's a funny thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Those triggers are so deeply rooted in us. Okay. And why now? Why are you?
Well, I think because of yet another failed diet. Okay. And thinking, oh, for goodness sake, you know, I've already lived half a century. Yeah. You know, I need to think of a different way of doing this, because all these fad diets don't work for me. Yeah. And I start them and I'm all in with it, you know, and a couple of weeks later, you know, the scales say half a pound off or stay the same, and I feel so like, oh, for goodness sake, you know. Yeah. And I chuck it all away and think, oh, I'm going to have a big piece of cake now.
Yeah.
So
it's so, and you know, you think you're working really hard, and you are working really hard, and and it's so disheartening.
I think also it's one of, I looked back and I'd always had quite a successful working life.
Yeah.
I've always had a very good social life, and I'm good with relationships and things like that.
Yeah.
It's the one part of my sort of being that I struggle with, and so I can remember thinking to myself, because I do read some of your out of Schaus or chaos, which is you know, I did think to myself, you know, maybe it worked for the fear of flying, which was very deeply rooted. You know, it could do something. So when I saw your advert, I thought, oh, that was meant to be.
Cool. And what difference will this make to your life? How will it change your life?
I think it would make me less tired.
Yeah.
So it would stop the emotional tiredness eating.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good thing. You know, because I am hefting around a lot more pounds than I really should be from a health point of view. And I think it would make me feel better about myself if I'm feeling healthier and I'm not feeling so tired. You know, it's lovely to go shopping and, you know, put on the size 16 and it actually buttons up. You're like, yes. You know, so I think generally, if you're become a healthier person for it, it's
there's so many benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't see any negatives, put it that way.
No.
And my food bill would be cheaper. But my mum was always on a diet. I mean, she was always. I was trying to think back actually, and I thought she basically was on the cabbage soup diet and cottage cheese for most of my teenage years. That was what was my mum's in the fridge, you know, Rivita and that sort of thing. She was always on diet. She was very slim.
Oh,
she
really?
didn't struggle. Well, she was very. She managed her weight very well.
Right.
But you know, she never had a weight problem at all. And from what I can see as an adult now, looking back.
That's interesting. So, could it be that you saw diets and mum and equated them to being miserable? And
quite often, because she wasn't very particularly happy.
I'm just going to ask a few health questions. Some may be useful, some maybe not, and I won't find out until I ask them. Any phobias? Anything that you are scared of?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of spiders. So I think if there was any phobia, however, I would never kill one.
Okay.
But you know,
they give you a bit of a jolt.
They do, and then I have to decide how I'm going to deal with it.
Okay.
So yeah, but I wouldn't. I couldn't bring myself to pick one up.
Yeah.
I usually give them a name, and then remember that their lungs are really tiny.
Oh.
So when they run really fast, they stop because they're out of breath.
Really? I never knew that.
Well, I've got a friend in Spain who does hypnosis therapy.
Yeah.
And when we were moving to Portugal, I said, "Oh my God, you know, I'm not a big fan of spiders, and you know, we're moving to the middle of the fields in Portugal. How I could cope with this?" And she said, "Oh, you know, just remember that they are terrified of us, and they've got tiny, tiny lungs, so they're trying to get away. They get all confused, which is why they run in different directions because they're so out of breath and so terrified. So now I look at them and think, oh, you poor little thing, you know, but just don't run towards me, and I'll think about what I'm going to do."
Yeah. Oh, that is so sweet. That's lovely. I never knew that.
Yeah. So they're quite lovely little things, really. It's just
and they kill flies.
I know, they're amazing. We love their webs when they're covered in frost, don't we? But I think it's that was a mother thing. Yeah. And my mum was scared of spiders, and it sort of, you know, every time one's near, it's like panic and just rubs off, doesn't it?
Well, we can easily deal with that. That's not a problem. And anything else I should be aware of?
Don't think so.
Okay. And similar to the previous question, but how will you know when our work has succeeded?
Well, I guess it would be how I feel at mealtimes. Yeah. And generally, because it's not just about the mealtime bit, is it? It's about, you know, because I think about food a lot. Yeah. And I try not to, but I think also because I'm the cook with Gareth and I. Okay. So I'm quite good at planning. So I'm always planning what we're going to eat for the day or for the week, or, you know, and it's the shopping and
that kind
And
of thing.
there's a perception of people who are bigger who, you know, sit on the sofa all day and are lazy and all the rest of it. And I said, oh, I'm not like that, you know. And I cook from scratch as well. So we very rarely have processed foods. And I said, oh, I don't understand what it is. You know, is there something medically wrong why I'm this weight? And he said, the only thing I can think of is the fact that you eat the same portion size as me.
Yeah.
And he's a big eater, but he's very physical.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some exercises, games, tests, whatever you want to call it, just to see how well your subconscious responds.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, it actually all makes great sense. It's like having a big staff meeting with that subconsciousness.
Subconsciously resisting.
Right, okay.
Because the natural thing is for them to come together. They just want to come together. Okay.
Clever stuff, isn't it?
Yes. Next one is another eyes closed one.
Okay.
No, what I'd like you to do is, I'm just going to count down from 3, 2, 1, and now you can open your eyes. That's good. How did that feel?
That was strange because I was thinking, of course I can open my eyes, but I couldn't.
What we're going to do now is we're going to try and talk directly to your subconscious mind.
Right, okay. Listen up, you guys. Right.
So, just put your hands on the cushion like that. What I want you to do is just lift a finger or a thumb and just consciously lift it up. You can see what that feels like.
Yes.
Okay. So that's you.
It was really strange.
You can feel it.
Yeah, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a yes, and the middle one's no.
And that wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I wasn't telling it not to go. I was just trying to relax, but I could feel it wanting to go. Yeah. That was really weird.
That's okay. We're gonna carry on. Just asking us.
I mean, I don't know that it would have gone like. Ooh.
No, again, it's the first time the subconscious has been aware that it can do stuff like this.
Blimey, it's strange. Really strange. That is, cool.
So. It feels strange because it's the first time you've been aware of the subconscious communicating. So the good news is we can work together.
Good.
So what we normally do is weekly sessions, 3 weekly sessions.
Hello. Well, today, day 1 of therapy with Sarah, we did touch a little bit on my phobia of spiders, and I was hoping I wouldn't be tested quite so soon, but I just got back from Thomas, and on the lounge wall was a spider that was really, really big. It's the biggest one we've seen here. It was the size of my hand. Enormous thing. So he was quite high up on the wall, so it wasn't like he was on the floor. I didn't have the sheer terror that I would have had normally. However, I didn't deal with it. My husband dealt with it. So but I didn't have that sheer fear thing. I did wonder to myself, what would I do if I'd come home on my own? But I think I would have been composed enough to manage it somehow. He actually went up the Hoover. Sorry, spider. But he was enormous. That wasn't something you could pick up. He was a really, really big boy. So anyway, that was my first challenge. And as I say, I didn't want it to be quite so soon, but hey ho. But anyway, we'll see how we get on with slightly smaller ones, because this one was the big daddy of big daddy spiders. I wouldn't have gone in the room. I'd have let Gareth deal with it. And then I probably would have spent the rest of the night
worrying
under the sheets, being boiling hot, thinking there might be another spider in here. And I didn't really think about it, which was quite interesting. Yeah. So, and I did have another chat with my subconsciousness to say, because the second day when this other one arrived, which wasn't as big, I mean, probably that size, you know, a fraction of the size. And I said, oh, it is quite big. I said, perhaps we'll get a pot and take it outside, because I don't know that I really want that running over me at night. It probably wouldn't, but you never know. So I didn't put the cup over it, but I got the cup and I was in the room while he did it, and he was probably where you are, and no, that would not have happened. I wouldn't have been screaming and running away and refusing to be in the house, which I've got friends who are like that. But I certainly was I felt like a lot more in control than I did before we had our chat, which was quite interesting. And when I got home, I actually looked at pictures of spiders. So I went just to Googled spiders. And every time one came on the screen, I felt that horrible feeling, and I thought, this hasn't worked. You know, it was like, oh, can't look sort of thing. But actually, when it happened, it wasn't like that at all. I was in control. So I've got on order from AliExpress a spider catcher, one of those brushes things. And I think they're that long, and I think that's quite fine. I can deal with that from that distance, catch it, put it outside. Come on then, little fella, off we go. Much nicer out there. It is. My God, what an amazing moment. Should I put him there? Right, okay, here we go, mate. Don't run back in. I know you're not huge, but you're still quite... There we go, off you go. Freedom! There we are. Sorted. Result, woohoo! So, yes.
Good.
And I never want to get to the stage particularly of wanting to pick one up, but as long as I can deal with it.
Interestingly, you say that looking at the pictures, you felt the same. Well, we didn't ask your subconscious to deal with the pictures. We asked your subconscious to deal with the reality. The subconscious is very black and white, right or wrong. You didn't ask me to do that, so I didn't do that. You've asked me to deal with the reality of spiders. Ask me to deal with pictures, I'll deal with pictures. But, good girl. She's just going to stare at me. Am I doing it right, Mum? Okay, so we will have a chat with the subconscious about that. I mean, that was just a sort of added extra, but we will make sure that we see that through to the end. So, going back to the main event, how's the eating been, given that it was birthday weekend?
Well, it was very busy actually, so in terms of thinking about eating, it didn't really happen. And I put a lot less on my plate than I normally would, and I almost gave Gareth sort of twice the portion that I had. And I tried to sort of feel what I felt like, and actually I felt okay, but I think that was mainly because I was so tired after the party. And I don't really want to go on a diet as such. I don't want to be writing everything down and weighing stuff. I want to, because I think if I recognise when I'm full and I'm conscious of what I'm putting on my plate, and once I've eaten what's on my plate, that's it. There is no more. I'm not going to do the whole seconds thing. I think that would be a massive thing, but it's just, I don't know what it is about, we'll just have a bit more, or have the same size as Gareth, or you know, I get to a certain point and think that I don't want any more. You know, I want that feeling of absolutely no, I don't want any more. And
that's really interesting. So that shows the power of your subconscious, that something happened and it was so horrible. Your subconscious has registered that, and 50 years later, 48 years later, it's still saying.
And even talking about it now makes me feel how I felt when I was a child. It was awful.
So
I am not in control of the quantity of food I eat. And I will look at a menu, often will go for what I know is going to give me the most food, not necessarily the nicest food. And where I want to be is to be able to choose the nicest food, irrelevant of the size of it, from a menu. And when I put food on a plate, to recognise what's enough and not to go over the top with it. You know, 3 potatoes is much better than 6. if I go to a pizza place, for example,
Yeah.
I want to order the small pizza, not the medium one,
Yeah.
and feel content after that.
Yeah.
When I'm tired, the thing in my head is about, you know, treat yourself. You know, you're tired, you worked hard yesterday, have a bit more.
Yeah.
So if I've been physically working in the house,
Yeah.
and then I think to myself, well, I deserve a bigger portion because I've been working all day and I've done my 10,000 steps. I kind of defeat the whole object of
Yeah.
of
Because
that.
you know that logically that that's the case.
Yeah, and it's crazy, and you know, I think, you know, I know exactly what I should be doing. You know, I'm quite an intelligent woman, and I've been on all these diet things all through my blooming adult life. I know what I should be doing.
Exactly. I mean, if I said to you how many calories are in an egg?
An egg, I think they're 80.
Exactly.
Yeah, and yeah, it's that feeling of just want to have a lightness about me. So it's a lot easier to breathe, and it's a lot easier to move, and yeah, and it's those moments that I think are the worst for me.
Yeah.
Especially we live in a hot country as well, which is just horrid.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this though, because I've because of the spider thing.
Yeah.
I've got massive high hopes for this. So I really hope that
it will work.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you feel your fingers? Everything was moving. There was a lot of
it's
work
like
going on.
It's. I was trying to explain it to Gareth. It's like when you put something down and you're on a nerve. It's really strange.
Yeah.
And I can hear everything. It's weird because you can hear everything that's going on around you. But I felt like I was going to sleep, and then suddenly.
Yes.
It's like, oh.
Okay, so I just want to have a quick chat about the spiders. So okay, and Joe, you can wakey. Hello. Just have a big stretch.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, that was a good session.
And I have this overwhelming, now that I've just thought about some of the things that are just hideous about, you know, being heavy. And it's mainly when it's hot as well, it's the worst.
Yeah.
I have this overwhelming sense of, you know, it's simple. It's not complicated, it's simple.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm going to write that down.
And it's weird, and I will keep you up to date with this regularly, because obviously, you know, I generally eat 3 times a day. It's the meal times that are a problem. Probably evening meals are the worst.
Yeah.
You know, the big dinner is the worst. But it's normally, if I think about weight loss, suddenly I'm there thinking calculations on calories and how many steps I've done, and it all gets very mathematical and very complicated, and it's like a whole big thing that I've got to think about.
Yeah.
That's so time consuming, and then writing everything down, and then you know, I've got enough calories for a scoop of ice cream, or all of that.
It's soul destroying, isn't it?
Oh, it's like a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yes. And now I think about it, and I think, well, it's quite straightforward, really.
Indeed. Oh no, I'm not going to say it.
I'll wait until I've, you know, I've started. Well, I'll continue having my meals, and it'll be really interesting how my brain thinks about all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing which is interesting is that, and I didn't do it on my birthday, which was interesting, because we were left quite a lot of desserts, and we actually gave them to people to take away. Now, I think in the past, because we don't generally have cakes and biscuits and desserty things at home generally, I would have probably not given them away. If I was seeing you for the first time today, I think I'd have thought it's my birthday.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on a diet next week. Let's really go for it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think like that.
Brilliant. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but what I think is, and the reason that I didn't go through a whole load of reasons why is I think you're just ready for it. Your subconscious is absolutely going.
It's fed up with all the calculations now. It's too much
work. Just tell me what I need to do and I'll do it.
Yeah. And I don't want to go for another 10 years and be 60 and have to have a knee operation or a hip operation or, I'm very lucky with my health, very lucky. But that is pure luck at the minute because it won't be if my poor knees and hips and because I'm not very tall. It's hard work. It is really hard work.
It puts a lot of strain on every part of you.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, okay.
Right, so I will keep you up to date.
Yes.
I'll do my little video things. A few days ago, I had my second session with Sarah to do with food and my thoughts behind food and visual eating and just eating way too much on my plate and always think about food. And to be honest with you, since 3 days ago, I've actually felt quite full, even though I haven't had big meals or anything. I've put a lot less on my plate and felt content after I've eaten it, which is really good. And last night was quite a big test because we actually went out for pizza, which is my favourite food out of all the foods. That is my favourite. And instead of ordering a medium pizza, I ordered a small. And I couldn't even eat all of my small pizza. I ended up giving 2 slices away, which was really good. And felt quite content. Didn't feel like I needed to have that last bit, even though, it would have made me feel horrible. But I didn't do that, and it wasn't something I thought about. It was just something, no, I can't eat anymore, and it felt wonderful actually to say that. And it was quite an amazing thing. I've got a family staying with me for a few days, so we've got we're out today and we're out tonight as well. So we'll see how it goes. But I can honestly say that despite the fact my portion sizes have probably halved in size since only for a few days, but they've halved in size. I have felt full the whole time, comfortably full. So hooray, long may it last. And I will do some more updates as and when, but because this obviously is going to be quite a long process for me to get my weight down to something that's more comfortable. But yeah, so far so good. Yay!
Good morning.
Good morning.
After all that, how are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
Yes, very well indeed.
Good. I loved your video.
Saving the little spider.
Yes, it made me laugh that you said, I'm going to get a spider catcher and it's going to be that long.
Yeah.
And that's as far as I want to get.
Yes.
And then you're up close.
I know, well... I mean, the spider, to be fair, wasn't...
Lili.
Like, calm down, darling, calm down. That's it, calm down.
Just ignore.
The spider, to be fair, wasn't huge. I
Lili.
mean, probably...
No.
Probably that, I would say, which is a sort of like a...
Yeah.
It's not tiny, but it's not massive. Now, you see, before that would have, to me, been quite a reasonable size, and I probably would have over-exaggerated by telling my friends, oh my God, there was this huge spider, because to me, it would seem a lot bigger than it actually was. So the thing that is quite, almost it is life-changing, really, is the fact that there's no sheer panic.
Yeah.
There's no, oh my God, I can't go into the room. I mean, just as well it was in the bathroom. We only have one. I mean, that in itself has been a massive thing.
Yeah.
And it's like Gareth was like, oh my goodness, he said, I know you've had a fear of spiders. He said, and I always deal with it. He said, but that's really quite cool.
Yeah.
And I said, well, next time it might be bigger.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit bigger. And I think, yeah, no problem. Yeah.
But once you're using your logic,
Yeah. And
it's not there anymore.
And it's such a simple thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this morning when I was driving over here, and I was thinking, the crazy thing is, it's actually kind of got in the way, this fear.
Yeah.
And it's so simple.
Yeah.
And I wish I'd done something about it years ago. But maybe it's only happened now because the time's right for it to happen now. Possibly.
You hadn't met me before then.
Exactly. So yes, and the eating thing, well, that's been...
Yeah.
And I've been kind of like a little bit... So ever since I first had my first session, and we didn't really touch on the food thing, only briefly.
Yeah.
So after the first session, I was very conscious of the food situation.
Yeah.
But I didn't necessarily have a feeling about it. It was just I was very conscious. So I was consciously putting less on my plate, feeling full afterwards, and not eating as much, but feeling quite happy about it. The second time I came to see you last time, I literally have felt full all the time.
Okay.
So that has, and again, Gareth noticed big time, and I haven't talked an awful lot about it to him in... like whenever something I think, oh, that's different. But so I had my son over and we ate out a lot.
Yeah.
We had meals out and I chose what I wanted. And in fact, last night we went out for a meal and we went to Kinder de Pobre, I think it was. I don't know if you've been there. Yeah. And I chose the salmon because it's my favourite meal, but it's one of the smallest dishes that they do.
Yeah.
I didn't have the bread because I felt full. Even before my meal, I felt full. And the plate came, I was delighted with it. It looked absolutely beautiful on the plate. And when my friend's meal came, it was enormous. And I just thought, that's a hideous amount of food on a plate. Yeah. And that was very unlike me. Yeah. I would have normally, and I've done it, I'd had the salmon there before and looked at the other plates thinking, oh, I'm not going to choose salmon again because not enough food. Yeah. But I gave half my pudding away, and the pudding was tiny. Yeah. But I was full. Yeah. Then I thought to myself, I wonder if there's something wrong with me, and this is just a coincidence that I've seen Sarah, and now I'm feeling quite full and bloated. Yeah. And I'm not used to feeling that. Yeah. And but no, it's definitely. I mean, I feel full now, and I've not had breakfast. I've had a cup of tea. Yeah.
The thing is that if you listen to your body, we actually need a lot less than we think.
Absolutely. A small, what I would call a child's portion, really, but I didn't want any more.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
So, and I kind of like it's almost too simple to be true. And I know that sounds weird, but it is. It's like, how come everyone doesn't do this?
I think the first thing is that the whole hypnosis, hypnotist, people get freaked out about that because it's very much linked to stage hypnosis and acting like a chicken and all these stupid things. But the other thing that the weight loss industry is massive.
Yeah, it's not a good money maker.
No, there's no money to be made out of it.
No.
You look at the slimming world, you look at all the meal replacements, you look at... Yeah. It is a massive, massive industry.
Yeah, I've spent thousands and thousands. I wouldn't even want to think how much money I've spent on diets. Yeah.
I know that I can change the way she thinks about food, which is all it takes.
Yeah, yeah. It's been mind-blowing for me. Yeah. The feeling full thing. And I'd like you to give me some tips on how to strengthen that as I move forward, because I don't want it to be one of these things that's really powerful and then starts to knock off later, Yeah.
There are two things. First of all, a lot of people say, "Oh, is this permanent? Is this going to work, or is this, as you say, just going to fade away?" Your subconscious now knows.
Right. Yes.
That you can do this.
Yeah.
So, again, it's that childlike black and white thinking. It's like, okay, didn't know I could do this before. Now I know I could do it. I know how much benefit it's giving you and how much happier it's making you, why on earth would I change?
Yeah. No,
A simple analogy is, you know, when you learn to tie your shoelaces,
you never not learn it.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's
Because
the short version.
I mean, I was thinking, because the full feeling's quite nice.
Yes.
And it's strange because my eating habit, it's changed my eating habits, because
Yeah.
I would always have breakfast, not I'd just bowl of cereal or a piece of toast.
Yeah.
You know, not massive fry-ups and stuff, because it's not my thing, but so I'd always have breakfast, but I've not been hungry for breakfast.
Yeah.
Like this morning, I'm like, I don't really feel like breakfast.
Yeah.
It's not. I'll have something later when I'm hungry.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be the same. So yesterday we were busy in the house, and I don't think I had my bowl of cereal till about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And at 1:30, Gareth says, "Oh, I could do with some lunch." And I said, "Well, what's the time?" And he said, "Oh, it's 1:30, 1:45." So I did he had 2 rolls with cheese and mustard and tomatoes in it, and I had one, and I only ate half of it, and he ate the other half. I ate my tomatoes, but because I wasn't hungry.
Yeah. And again, you know, what you've been doing prior to this is just eating on autopilot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now your body's gone, okay, well, we'll actually just send the hungry signals when we need to.
Yeah.
No,
so
that's
very
fantastic.
significant. It's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Because are you $5.90 for your session?
I wish.
Because I was listening.
495.
495. 500. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, that's incredible. If this lasts like you say it's going to, I mean, my God, people pay thousands for that. You know, like they would do to, you know, all the dieting stuff. I mean, it won't even. I could have brought cars and stuff or whatever, you know, probably a house with the amount of money.
Yeah, as I say, it's the same thing with smoking.
Yeah.
You know, smoking cessation.
Yeah.
Is massive. All the nicotine patches and that's why the pharmaceutical and nicotine industries are so keen on telling you that the smoking is addictive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly it's addictive from an emotional point of view, but from a physical point of view, there's no addiction.
No, it actually raises your blood pressure and heartbeat. I think for me, when I gave up smoking, I gave up the traditional way of just stopping, and everyone suffered for a bit. And I was a heavy smoker as well.
Yeah.
But it was the habit. So for me, it was, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
So I changed from drinking coffee to drinking tea, and then I didn't associate tea with cigarettes, and I took up cross stitch. So every time I was on a work break, I'd have a little cross stitch in my bag and and that worked for me.
And that's a really good example, because, and it's very normal to say, is this going to work? Is this just a fluke? Is this just, you know, whatever? But you've seen it yourself with smoking.
Yeah.
You know, you were doing something which you absolutely thought was part of you and you could never stop, and then you just stopped.
Yeah. It was just portion sizes, and if I did go out, I'd have to eat everything and the biggest thing, you know.
Yeah.
But that has changed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely that you're talking at it in the past tense now.
Yes, absolutely. Too right. I'm amazed. I am amazed, because I'm quite sceptical on these things.
Yeah.
I did think to myself, because I was very sceptical when I had the hypnosis years ago.
Yeah.
And it made such a big difference.
Yeah.
And but I was still like, no, you know, you never know. It's worth a try. And then I saw your advert, and I thought, definitely worth a try. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just hope that, you know, the videos and that, for you know, it goes to help people who struggle, because it's really demoralising, the whole weight thing. Yeah. Singing and acting and stuff. I'm quite extrovert in that sense anyway. But my overriding thing is that if taking part in this goes towards helping other people, or you know, somebody who thinks, do you know what, I'm going to look into that and see whether that's something that could work for me, it's got to be a good thing. There's no losers in this, is there? Exactly,
because even with a client where we charge money, we always do the initial consultation.
Oh, you know, I just think it's worth every penny.
Well, the thing is, if
you might see me again for something else in the future.
I won't. Well, it'd be lovely to, but I won't, because I'm going to teach you how to do it today.
Oh, right, okay. Well,
When people come to us, we do this initial free consultation.
Yeah.
And if we know it's not going to work, you know, if there's no movement, if there's, you know, we don't get on with the person, or it's something that we can't work with, we just say, look, we can't help. So there's no charge. So, you know, the way we work is very ethical. In that we don't do it unless we're pretty sure we're going to get a good result.
And also, I mean, it's like it's a package of things, because when I originally spoke to you, it was about my eating, but actually the spider thing was quite a massive thing for me as well. So that's like, you know, buy one get one free.
Took that in as a freebie. Brilliant.
So no, it's been such a good experience for me. Okay, so I've been really, really fortunate to have had quite a unique and amazing experience through Sarah. I was I wasn't skeptical, but I was a bit like, oh, well, you know, let's see what she can do with the couple of things that I needed help with. And number one, she's lovely. That really helped. She's really personable. She's warm, and she's soft and kind, and there wasn't anything that I couldn't open up about, which was really, really good. I think, to be quite honest with you, I think my sessions with Sarah have actually changed my life quite significantly, for all the good reasons, and I really wish her well with carrying on this incredible work that she does. And I hope that by me taking part and being open about my struggles, that it goes on to help other people who have similar struggles or different struggles, because I really think this is incredible, and I'm incredibly grateful to her. Amazing, absolutely amazing stuff. Thank you.
Here she is. Here's trouble.
Hello, sweetheart. Yes, as yet you'd be calm.